I think we just witnessed the best Game Awards ever in terms of announcements, so I can't wait to go over all the huge reveals in this video, but there's also been a ton of discussion about the event as a whole. Like, one of the biggest critiques was the fact that the award winners only had 30 seconds for their speech after a big sign would say, "Please wrap it up." The timing was especially bad because the Baldur's Gate 3 developers were talking about a colleague who passed away, and then there was like a sign saying, "Please wrap it up." Not a great look at all. And this is when Kojima had like almost 10 minutes to talk about his new project with Jordan Peele, while they were not really revealing a lot. I'm sure this will improve in the future, but there are really two sides. Like, on one hand, maybe it should just be like a big game announcement show. On the other hand, it is cool to highlight the developers and their work, but then give them more time, because now the balance was really off, with the Hollywood celebrities taking kind of the spotlight way more than the actual developers. But yeah, let's talk about the actual game announcements, because I think it's totally up there with some of the big E3 shows we had back in the day. The biggest reveal was totally the new Monster Hunter game, in my opinion, Monster Hunter Wilds. The trailer built up slowly, we see a ton of monsters on screen at once, bigger open spaces, and a big storm that is catching up to them. So it seems like the weather will play a huge role, which could totally make things even more replayable. The mount can not only be used to travel faster, by the way, but also to glide. Like, they're putting the things from Rise, putting them together with the things from World, and making a brand new game. I think it looks awesome. World sold more than 20 million units with the Iceborne expansion, over 10 million units. Like, this will be a massive game coming to Xbox Series X, PS5 and PC at the same time. We only have to wait till 2025. Now, to be fair, Monster Hunter World came out in January 2018, and with them already announcing the game now, I totally think this is an early 2025 title, so before April 2025. We should at least expect new info and gameplay in the summer of 2024, so likely around Summer Game Fest in June. Now, I'm really curious when that Horizon Monster Hunter style game is launching, because early 2025 or like a 2025 window in particular seems likely for that game as well, which might not be ideal with having like a Monster Hunter game launch before that. Another massive reveal was from Marvel's Blade, made by Arcane. And no, not the team that did Redfall. This is Arcane Leon, responsible for Dishonored and Deathloop, but instead of first person, Blade is going to be a new mature single player third person game based on the comic book hero Blade. The trailer did not reveal too much, only that it takes place in Paris, in the quarantine section of the city, where vampires have emerged and are forcing people to stay inside their homes at night to wait for sunrise. Like, this could be their Insomniac's Spider-Man moment. Like, before Spider-Man, Insomniac made amazing games as well, but they never really sold, same as for Arcane, until they got to work on Spider-Man. So maybe if Blade is really good, they can finally reach a bigger audience. Now, Microsoft and Bethesda would not say if the game is exclusive or basically if it's coming to PlayStation. High chance it isn't, because Indiana Jones, another Disney Bethesda title, is exclusive to PC and Xbox. It's just weird that they would not immediately say that it's an exclusive. Like, if this was a new PlayStation Marvel game, we would immediately know that it was exclusive. But yeah, still looking forward to it, even though it will be a few years before we see it again. I'm curious to hear your take on this Blade game in the comments down below. And the fact that they are making a Blade game makes that leaked Bethesda games list that Bethesda seemingly have shared with Xbox before the acquisition super outdated, because here we namely saw Dishonored 3 as the next project from Arcane Leon. So other projects that were listed here, like an Oblivion remaster, a Fallout 3 remaster, and Doom Year Zero, should also be taken with a grain of salt. On the other hand, this makes the Bethesda future more of a secret once again. Moving on to the DC side, we sadly did not see Wonder Woman. Makes me wonder if it's a 2024 game, although as said before, Warner probably wanted to put the spotlight on a Suicide Squad for now, and that game had a big new trailer showcasing a first look at battles we will have against the Justice League members, with Green Lantern probably being the first we encounter. After that, we probably battle Flash. It seems pretty hectic. They also teased Nightmare Batman from Arkham Knight. I think at least playing through the campaign will be really fun, and they actually announced an offline mode for after launch. This will give players the option to experience the main campaign without an internet connection. Probably makes it more appealing for people, but yeah, you have to wait post-launch before it's available. But this also means that if ever the servers go down, we can still play the game. And now I really got in that DC DC mood, and well, I saw that in the US, they just added a ton of DC movies to Netflix, but yeah, in the UK, for example, you cannot watch them. Well, this video is sponsored by Surfshark, and with their Google Chrome extension, you can just with one click switch to the US and then see all those movies, like the Fantastic Joker, but my favorite is totally the James Gunn Suicide Squad. Now, of course, if you live in the US, you can also use this to go to different countries and see completely different shows or movies that are not available in your region, but Surfshark can be used for way more. Like, it's really smart to use a VPN when on a public Wi-Fi, for example, because otherwise you're an easy target for hackers. It also lets you download files safely, and again, I love that Google Chrome extension, but you can also use it on iOS, Android, on PC or Mac, and with one subscription, you can use it on every device you have. And I now got an exclusive holiday deal. If you namely click the special link in the video description, you can get up to 6 months for free. You gotta be fast though, so totally check that link in the video description. This would really support the channel as well. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring the video, and now let's get back into it. Yes, I already mentioned Kojima. He finally talked more about the project he's doing with Xbox called OD, also known as Overdose, focused on tech that very realistically puts famous people in games. We see impressions here from Sophia Lillis, Hunter Shaver, and Udo Kier that will play big roles in the game, but it's really one of those early Quantic Dream teasers with no actual gameplay. We did have a leak though, more than a year ago, that showed a third-person horror title where we control the girl that we now only see the face of, so high chance it was for that game. Kojima describes it as a very unique, immersive, and totally new style of game, or rather a new form of media. I mean, he said it about Death Stranding as well, and was that really a new kind of game, a Stranding game or whatever? No, not really. So, of course, we will see, but it's always interesting to see what he will do, and Jordan Peele is one of the creators that will be helping with the story. But yeah, speaking of Death Stranding 2, it was not at the Game Awards. Makes me wonder if that is a 2024 title as well. Like, probably not, right? Or maybe because he was showing this Xbox game, he could not show the PlayStation game. Although they could still, like, show a new trailer at a PlayStation event in the summer and still have it launch at the end of the year. We will see. Still though, Sony's first party in 2024 really remains a mystery. We don't know about anything. They still do have a pretty great early 2024 planned for us though, with now Rise of the Ronin there as well. We got a second trailer, once again highlighting the Japanese setting. It takes place at the end of the 19th century, and you clearly see the Neo influences in this trailer, especially the slashy combat. We see some pretty cool parry moves where you can apply fire to your sword by parrying a flaming arrow. You can use the grapple hook for traversal, but also in combat to close the gap. I think this could only be the biggest Team Ninja game, as it has like the PlayStation Studios backing. It's a PS5 exclusive, and I looked at the webpage, and here it says that it has multiplayer for up to 3 players. So co-op or something. I don't think they showed that yet, so that's interesting. But yeah, it's coming March 22nd, 2024, which 1 month after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So while Sony's own studios are not releasing big exclusives, the third parties that they have deals with are doing it, which is nice. But that March 22nd date is the same release date as Dragon's Dogma 2 though, so that's kinda sad to have 2 big open world games that would really benefit from having their own moment in the spotlight now fight it out for attention. Like, I wanted to cover both, and probably am still trying to do it with Dennis and Joyce, but I think it will be hard. Like, I think it would have been nicer to just focus on one game. Now we have to kind of decide. But let me know what you're looking forward to the most in the comments down below. Now, to round out the Game Awards announcements, I want to talk about some other highlights. Donut is finally doing another Life is Strange style game, but a new IP called Lost Records. It's about a bunch of high schoolers that find something and then promise to keep that a secret and never speak to each other again. Only now, 27 years later, they reunite to confront what has happened 27 years ago. I think it could be cool. It's launching at the end of 2024. There's also a single player action-adventure Jurassic Park game coming. It started with a pretty cool cinematic trailer, and then we saw some first-person like gameplay at the end. Could be great as well. I mean, it has raptors, so that's a +1 for me. Black Myth Wukong is coming August 20th, 2024. I did not expect to get a release date already. But yeah, it's finally coming, and as you might know, I played the game at Gamescom. If you want to hear my impressions, check the video out. I linked in the video description. This could really be a Game of the Year contender if the whole game was as good as the demo. The first Berserker, Kazan, also deserves a shout out. It's a hardcore, quote-unquote, action RPG based on the Dungeon Fighter franchise. I love the pretty gritty but also super stylized art style and the flashy combat. Totally like keeping an eye on that one. No Man's Sky developers Hello Games are making a new open world game called Light No Fire. It should be about adventure, building, survival and exploration together on a fantasy planet the size of Earth. They call it truly open world because there seems to be no boundaries, so procedurally generated with different biomes and enemies, so probably the No Man's Sky system, but now on one planet. Basically an endless open world. I think it could be interesting. Exodus is a new sci-fi RPG from ex-BioWare developers. Looks a lot like Mass Effect, like the style and especially the art direction of some of the locations they showed. But the gameplay at the end still looked a bit stiff. But again, it's ex-BioWare devs, so I still think it's worth like following this. Especially the planets, again, I think look really, really cool. The actor behind Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins also announced his new game in collaboration with EA, Tales of Kenzera Zhao. It's a 2.5D side-scroller where you play a young shaman and have different combat and traversal powers. There are bosses we have to take out, and Abubakar Salim also voiced the main character, and he sounds a lot like Bayek, like have a listen.
My name is Zhao, a shaman of Kenzera.
But yeah, coming April 23rd, 2024, overall kind of reminds me of Prince of Persia. That game got a new story trailer at the Game Awards. It's coming January 18th, of course. And we now also learned that there will be a demo coming on January 11th. I totally recommend that you try that, because when I played it, I became a believer. There was more Ubisoft stuff, namely Skull and Bones got that leaked release date, February 16th, 2024, confirmed, with early access starting 3 days earlier if you buy a more expensive edition or play the game through Ubisoft Plus. And there's also a closed beta coming between December 15th and the 18th. Like, there's a lot happening this coming week. I want to talk about that, but let's first look at some other news. Because just before the Game Awards, we got a first look at The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, the No Return mode. That will be coming with this PS5 edition. That is, of course, a $10 upgrade for everyone who owns the PS4 version. And this mode seems like it's already worth the $10 alone, because it looks really awesome and pretty deep, with 10 characters to pick from that all have their own stats, returning locations and enemies that we can fight. But now dying means that we have to start all over and go through a new run that should be different each time, and we can also apply special modifiers like where enemies will become invisible. And if you then complete the level with these challenges, you will get better rewards. I really love the Part 2 combat, so having something that focuses on that and is heavily replayable sounds awesome. Coming January 19th. And we of course know that Naughty Dog is also working on a new single player game. We just don't know if it's The Last of Us Part 3 or something new. I would love to see a new IP, although with the success of the HBO show, doing Part 3 first to then like really finish The Last of Us, so the HBO show also has enough like to build on for their upcoming seasons, might be smarter. But we now learned that the voice actor of Tommy has not received a Part 3 script yet, and you would totally think that he returns in the third game, right? On the other hand though, if he got the script, he probably would not have been able to say anything, although voice actors usually are not up to date on NDAs for games, like they mostly leak stuff. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to share. I don't know, I think they're doing Part 3, but we will see. And I just thought of this, but Sony is now launching 2 roguelites close to each other with The Last of Us, and then this coming week, the free Valhalla DLC for God of War Ragnarok. We made a big video with everything you need to know. A link to that will be in the video description. I will of course be making a ton of content on that. We will be streaming it. Assassin's Creed Mirage is also getting New Game Plus mode this coming week. It was announced a few days ago, so that's why it says next week. But the perma dev mode was sadly delayed to 2024. It does mean though that we get another update for Mirage in 2024, and I at first did not expect that. But yeah, New Game Plus probably on December 12th as well, if I had to guess. Which, by the way, my birthday, so we're getting 2 big updates for some of my favorite games on my birthday. Hey, that's a nice present, for sure. We also know the Spider-Man New Game Plus patch is coming in December. We don't know when. I can also see that happening this coming week. While I would appreciate the birthday present for Spider-Man as well, let's hope that it's not on the same day, because I can only handle too many things. We also have been playing the new Final Fantasy 16 DLC, so expect a video on that very soon. More Avatar content as well. It's a busy time at the end of the year, but with some exciting stuff. Of course, at the end of the week, you can also expect a news roundup video like this. So subscribe to not miss it, and check out Surfshark via the link in the pinned comment. A like would be awesome, and check out my previous video on that God of War DLC by clicking on the screen. I'll speak to you very soon. Goodbye.